Hi, I'm Leigh with Aspire Advocacy in the latest of our series of videos on IEPs. Today's video is 5 IEP hacks that every parent needs to know. Hack number 1 is to be prepared for the meeting. I always like to suggest that parents take a list of what their priorities are for the meeting. I call it an agenda. That can be a little intimidating, but all an agenda is a list of what you want to cover about your child. So that it should include your concerns, any areas where you want to get more information from the staff, any areas where you think your child needs more support or services. All of that written down on a list in front of you will help you stay organized and on track during the meeting. What I usually recommend is that we have an agenda that's for the parents and me that has some additional notes so we can remember some of the more pertinent details, but I also give a kind of basic copy of that agenda to the team because really there's no reason to surprise them. Even if we don't have the best working relationship, being transparent and collaborative wherever you can is going to help, and I recommend it. Item number 2, I've been in IEP meetings where we get a stack of 1/2 inch to 1 inch of assessments. So anywhere between 30 and 60 pieces of paper, sometimes more. It is not possible to be sitting in a meeting, talking to a bunch of people, interpreting what they have to say, reading those reports, interpreting what it has to say, write down questions, and then figure out where you want to go with that. I do this all the time, and I can do kind of a quick assessment during a meeting, and I can kind of scan and see where they're going, but it does you a disservice not to have those assessments prior to going into the meeting. Get them at least the night before, preferably even longer before that. I typically recommend that you ask for them a week in advance, and then you'll end up getting them 2 to 3 days in advance. It's still long enough to read, think about it, make some notes, ask some questions, and make sure you understand. Hack number 3, these people have your child, and I know that especially if your child is not getting the services that he or she needs, it can be pretty frustrating, and it can be hard not to be annoyed at people when you ask for something that seems pretty reasonable for your child and they give you no or don't give you a good reason why they're not honoring your request. It still isn't something I enjoy watching. I understand that as a parent it can be infuriating. Remember, this is a business relationship, and as best you can, be professional and businesslike in all your dealings with the school district. Trust me, even now, when a school district sends me a particularly outrageous email, I want to respond with a snarky email so badly. Sometimes I'll even take a blank piece of paper and write it down on there and then throw it away. But keep in mind, this is a business relationship. Would you write your boss like that? Would you write somebody else in your company? Would you write somebody that you need to work with that? If you wouldn't do it with them, try not to use that technique or tone with the school district as well. It is a business relationship, even if they're driving you a little bonkers. My 4th hack is to not lose your cool, especially in an IEP team meeting. But again, kind of ties in with that business relationship in number 3. You don't want to lose your cool. That helps the district label you as that parent. And I'm all in favor of being that parent in ways that are productive. However, losing your cool isn't one of them. They have the upper hand for a bit when they do. I'm not saying they're not frustrating, and I understand we're all human. I had a meeting not that long ago where I had to say, would it be all right if I took a break right now? I ask it that way, but I'm going to take the break. And I went outside and took a couple deep breaths and went back in. Sometimes it seems like they're so deliberately obtuse that I sit there and wonder, are we even having the same conversation about the same child? All feelings are normal, but the ones we're going to display in an IEP are ideally our calmest, coolest self as best we can. So if you need a break, go outside, take it, come back when you're ready. I said, no, it's not always easy, and it's worth heading towards that goal as best you can. Last but not least, and this is another important hack, the meeting notes. A lot of times districts either don't send meeting notes or send a very abbreviated page of meeting notes. So you'll have had some key conversations that somehow didn't make it into that page of meeting notes. We asked for a fairly basic service for a child in a meeting recently, and they said no, and I said, could you please put that in the meeting notes? Guess what was not in the meeting notes? Ideally, if you can, Ask them to read the meeting notes before you leave the meeting. Sometimes you're out of time and it's simply not possible. In that case, as soon as you get the meeting notes, send in a written correction on what's missing. Because you have that recording of the IEP team meeting that we've discussed in other videos, you will have the grounds to back up your request. I hope these hacks have been successful. They are part of making sure that your child has a measurable, specific IEP. As ever, if you like some help with figuring out what to ask for or how to ask for it, or would like me to attend a meeting with you, or even look over your documents before a meeting, just give me a call. I'm Leigh with Aspire Advocacy, and I look forward to working with you. Thanks.